Thomas Jefferson said ridicule is the one weapon which can be used against unintelligible propositions. There have been about 1,000 major creation myth gods of one form or another, the huge majority now discarded in favor of monotheism, but all having one glaring similarity, the undeniable lack of any evidence of their existence.
What if you're wrong?
Well, what if I'm wrong? I mean, anybody could be wrong. We could all be wrong about the flying spaghetti monster and the pink unicorn and the flying teapot. You happen to have been brought up, I would presume, in the Christian faith. You know what it's like not to believe in a particular faith because you're not a Muslim, you're not a Hindu. Why aren't you a Hindu? Because you happen to have been brought up in America, not in India. If you've been brought up in India, you'd be a Hindu. If you were brought up in Denmark in the time of the Vikings, you'd be believing in Wotan and Thor. If you were brought up in classical Greece, you'd be believing in Zeus. If you were brought up in Central Africa, you'd be believing in the great Juju up the mountain. I mean, there's no particular reason to pick on the Judeo-Christian God in which by the sheerest accident you happen to have been brought up, and ask me the question, what if I'm wrong? What if you're wrong about the great Juju at the bottom of the sea?
Religious people will forgive God for fucking anything. If he in their mind, he does good things, rainbows, children's laughter, shit like that, right? But when he does bad things like hurricanes, AIDS, cancer, child molestation, then we just go, oh, well, God works in mysterious ways. What type of an excuse is that? What is mysterious about acting like a fucking asshole? That is like the least mysterious activity since the dawn of time. If I ever date a religious girl, she's going to come home and I'm going to be raping her mum, right? And she's going to look at me and go, what are you doing? And I'm going to go, I'm mysterious. I've always been mysterious.
If I met God in the unlikely event after I died, I think the first thing I'd say is, well, which one are you? Are you Zeus? Are you Thor? Are you Baal? Are you Mithras? Are you Yahweh? Which God are you? And why did you take such great pains to conceal yourself and to hide away from us?
Well, I can't be certain there's no God, but I can be reasonably confident as a social scientist that the anthropology of religion, the psychology of religion shows that people invent gods to explain causality in the world. You want to know why there's storms or why there's accidents, why do people die, why did the tree fall over? From hunter-gatherers all the way up to the modern world, humans construct gods to explain things, and these are different gods, different religions, and so we've come down to monotheism. But what are the chances that those 999 other gods are false gods and this one is the one true God that most people happen to believe in today, or that they're all socially constructed?
What is the probability that Yahweh is the one true God in Amun-Ra, Aphrodite, Apollo, Baal, Brahman, Ganesha, Isis, Mithras, Osiris, Shiva, Thor, Vishnu, Wanton, Zeus, and the other 986 gods are all false gods? You guys are atheists just like me. Of all the gods I just rattled off, some of us just go one God further.
In my view, the one thing we know about all religions on the first question is that they're all wrong. That's not where we came from, you know. And maybe beautiful stories, you know, I mean, Genesis is a beautiful story. The Hindu creation myth of Shiva churning the universe into being in a giant pot, you know, is a perfectly beautiful story. The Nordic creation myth, you know, with the cow at the bottom of the Gnunga Gap, all that, that's a beautiful story. There's nothing wrong with them as stories. They're excellent stories, but they're not true. You know, they're fictions.
Now, if you act bad, you go to hell, right? Now, you've lied, you've cheated, you've stole, you've been a prick your entire life. Why would the devil punish you? You're one of his boys. He's going to fucking dig you. That's where all the hookers and drugs are going to be. Don't think they're going to make their way into heaven. Don't think God's going to open the gate and go, Jim, you've been such a good guy. See this big-titted whore with a line of coke on her? Knock yourself out, son.
Religion has usurped this notion of morality, so that if you just saying, you know, I don't buy it, automatically is equivalent to the saying, I'm not a good person. And that, to me, is the underlying most immoral aspect of religion. It tries to have a monopoly on morality and ethics.
Why are you not a Christian?
Because I see no evidence whatever for any of the Christian dogmas. I've examined all the stock arguments in favour of the existence of God, and none of them seem to me to be logically valid. The fundamental dishonesty and the fundamental treachery to intellectual integrity to hold a belief because you think it's useful and not because you think it's true.
Like, I live out in Los Angeles, there's a bunch of Scientologists out there, and the first time I heard the story of Scientology, I was like, that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my life. Like, your guy's name is Ron? Ron. And he wasn't alive thousands of years ago, so you can hide a lot of it in the mystery. This guy was alive like 45, 50 years ago. He had a driver's license, social security number. There's like footage of him stubbing his toe. Motherfucker, right? And I don't know what happened. He was working at Denny's. He got sick of it. He's like, oh, I'll start a religion. Hey, everybody, there's a spaceship coming back. Everybody's getting sneakers. This is Tom Cruise. We're going to try to make you clear. Right? Now, look, I'm paraphrasing. To be fair to the Scientologists, I am paraphrasing. But that's essentially what they believe in.
There are 300,000 religious congregations in this country that pay no tax, no federal, state, or local, no income, sales, or property tax, and they own $600 billion in property, like St. Patrick's Cathedral on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you sell cheap sweaters like they do across the street at Forever 21, you pay taxes. But if you're selling the invisible product of eternal whatever, no taxes. So to recap, Forever 21, taxes. Forever 33, no taxes. That makes me hopping mad.
The late Christopher Hitchens wrote, religion is ineradicable, and as you put it, harder to get rid of than smallpox. Doesn't this basically mean that whatever motivations you have, no matter how passionately you're driven and love for the truth, you are essentially wasting your time?
I would never admit to wasting my time trying to propagate the truth, and I think I can claim a modicum of success with the people that I've read my books, the people who've attended my lectures. It's a doctrine of despair to say that we're stuck with religion for all eternity. The religions of ancient Greece and ancient Rome and the Vikings have all dead. Nobody believes in Jupiter or Thor anymore. And I have great hopes that the same is going to be true of the God of Abraham.
I think there'd be more atheists and less faithful if you weren't allowed to teach anything, you weren't allowed to mention any gods or any beliefs or atheism, right, until they were 20. I think we'd see a different pattern. The human brain, when it's young, is a sponge. It has to be. It has to take in all the information. It has to trust its parents, its elders, to survive. Without question, don't touch the fire. Why not? Don't go near the wolf. Don't touch that spider with a red bit. Don't touch that. Why not? Just don't. There is a God. What? There is a God. And if you're bad, you go to hell. Okay? And if that's constantly confirmed, like all the other things, wolves eat you, black widows kill you, fires burn you, if it's given that same level of credence and truth, you're never going to get over it.